intractably opposed, who were giving really heavily conflicting evidence. When those two realities were presented, my feeling was, well, one of these people is lying. But how do you work out which one it is?
It's called evidence, Nick, you numbskull.
It was a question the jury was about to answer.
Your next witness? Your Honor, we call Mr. John C. Depp.
Over 6 long weeks, the lawyers for Johnny Depp and Amber Heard threw themselves into the task of selling their respective stories.
He rips off her nightgown. He has her jammed up against a bar. He has hurled bottles and bottles at her. He has dragged her across the floor on the broken bottles and the liquor. He has punched her. He has kicked her. He tells her he's going to fucking kill her. He fucking hates her. He's pounding at her, pounding her. And then he penetrates her with a liquor bottle.
But there were two very different versions of how the relationship played out.
The common sense and the evidence will tell you that it is all a lie.
You go, Camille. All a lie. All a lie. And, you say there again, like Nick Wallace is like, oh, but who to believe? Well, you just look at the evidence. You just look at the evidence, you moron. It's all there. The jury aren't like some, group of rocket surgeons that have special mystical powers. They can see what happened in Johnny and Amber's relationship. They saw what was presented in front of them, the evidence, and they went, geez, this is obvious. Johnny's innocent. And Amber, whoa, that is one scary behatch.
It wasn't just the jury the lawyers were trying to convince. Millions of people around the world were tuning into the drama via live stream every day. The court of public opinion was well and truly in session. In a way, it was kind of surreal. You had this very serious matter playing out in court, but it almost became a real-life soap opera as well, with the live TV coverage and the intense interest around the world.
Because it was televised around the world and streamed around the world on the internet, people started to take a real interest in this, and it kind of energized the latent fan base that Johnny Depp has enjoyed and built up over his 30-year career. And people were starting to make their own decisions about what they were seeing in court.
Oh, isn't that funny? When people make their own decisions about what they're seeing in court, it goes overwhelmingly in Johnny's favor in the court of public opinion. Isn't that interesting, Nick? You see how that works? When you actually show, unlike your disingenuous, lying, narrative-pushing, bullshit mainstream media reporting, unlike that, when the masses actually get to see the evidence for themselves and make up their own minds, as you just said, it is overwhelmingly in support of Johnny Depp. The court of public opinion supports Johnny because he's telling the bloody truth.
And the public came down, I would say, pretty much squarely in favor of Johnny Depp.
Yeah, obviously.
People want to kill me, and they tell me so every day. People want to put my baby in the microwave.
No, they don't.
Tell me that.
This case,
again, more stuff on Amber's side. Nobody talks about what Johnny went through. He talked at length on the stand about what this has done to him and his life and his family. We saw Isaac cry on the stand. He wept for his friend who's been through this. Peace, Isaac. I love you. They just don't show it. And this is really what I'm trying to do. I know, I can get very caught up in pointing out all the evidentiary things that were, are missed here. But the overall thing here is that 60 Minutes and the mainstream media are not reporting this accurately. Like, even just report it accurately 60 Minutes and let people decide. But they're not doing that. They're pushing a single narrative, which is that Amber Heard is some kind of victim still, which she's clearly not. She's the abuser. Johnny was innocent. She lied. She lied. She lied. And that's what the verdict showed.
Others before, it really seemed to polarize the public, and there did become these cheer squads on both sides.
I think it's a polarizing issue when a woman brings up something that happens in private against someone who has an amazing public image and is loved and is cherished and is respected. I think that you want to believe that she's making it up and he's wrongly accused. I think it's almost bullying It's like we all want to be in the popular
Get stuffed.
crowd. We want to be the kid that everyone loves and with the popular kid. And Johnny Depp was the
fuck?
popular kid in this fight.
Get the fuck out of here, lady. People sided with Johnny Depp because he was telling the truth. Bully? What are you talking about, bully? No person in the entire life of Johnny Depp has described him as a bully. I remember the actress from What's Eating Gilbert Grape, back when Johnny was like, what, in his early 20s, very young. He was giving her his coat when it was cold and stuff like that. And that theme has carried all the way through his entire life. Nobody has ever called Johnny a bully, ever. What this is Johnny wanting the truth to be out there and Amber to be exposed. And what you get is, I mean, she called it cheerleaders. I mean, and he said there must have been, cheer squads for both sides. Yeah, Johnny had the entire world. Amber had some like half drunk dude sitting on a park bench. That's what she had. Okay. And there's good reason for that. It's called truth. It's called evidence, and it's called justice.
He was the popular kid, and Amber Heard was the one that was being bullied.
A Hollywood heartthrob for nearly 40 years, Johnny Depp has always had an unwaveringly loyal fan base. And with their man now under fire in court, his fans came out in force. Dare I ask what you think of Amber Heard?
I think she is an evil person, a despicable person. I don't feel she or anyone has the right to make up the kind of lies that she's making up about him. She utterly wants to destroy him, and she'll never be able to because he's very strong.
Do you think Johnny is capable of a lot of the things that he's being accused of?
No, I don't believe it. I don't. He's a human being, so I'm not going to say that he's a saint because we all have our moments.
Mm-hmm.
There are many words you could use to describe Yvonne de Boer. Perhaps devoted is the most fitting. So how big do you think this legion of support is for Johnny Depp?
Millions. Millions. There's millions of them that have been following his career, following the trial, and they just want to support him. We all just want to support him. So Johnny here, he's still wearing the ring and bracelet that I gave him.
Yvonne was one of the many Johnny loyalists who lined up for hours each day in the hope of securing a coveted seat in the courtroom. And what a performance they got, not only from Johnny and Amber, but from a stunning cast of supporting actors as well.
Okay, now we're going to see Kate Moss, but did you hear the language he used there? Making it all seem superficial, all like it's just a movie. It's all playing out there. They're actors. They're playing roles. All of these things. No, I'm so freaking sick of that. This is their lives. This is Johnny's life we're talking about. He's a human being. Just because he's got wealth, just because he's got fame and things like that, doesn't mean he's not a human being. This is his freaking life. And I'm so sick of them making out like it's just a Hollywood drama. There are so many more issues layered to this that just don't even get brought up. Like, why not talk about some of those issues? Now, I'll just touch on Yvonne quickly, because Yvonne, I've got nothing against Yvonne whatsoever. Seems like she's a lovely lady and she is a fan of Johnny, awesome. But I want to point this out. Again, this is another trick that 60 Minutes use and the mainstream media use. They bring someone on like Yvonne, who's lovely and she's a fan of Johnny's, and what she said was not wrong. But what they do is they make it out and they leave that subconscious impression in your mind that it's just fans. It's only fans that support Johnny. That's what they're doing. That's what they're trying to do by having someone like Yvonne there and not bringing on a plethora of attorneys, of other people who support Johnny. People who are not necessarily, fans or involved or anything like that. And those people exist by the hundreds, by the thousands, probably now by the millions. But they have a fan on to make you think that it's only fans that support Johnny and not anybody else who could be objective. So, which is completely untrue. But what they could have done, there was a perfect opportunity there to, I don't know, interview somebody else, somebody who's an attorney, interview another judge, a former judge, anybody else who would be like an expert. I don't know, talk to Dr. Shannon Curry if you want to. She laid it all out for everyone. but they don't. They're trying to give you the impression that they're being unbiased when they're doing the exact opposite.
Would you please state your full name for the record?
Kate Moss.
One surprise was supermodel Kate Moss, who dated Johnny in the 90s and took less than 3 minutes to show her support for him on the stand.
Did Mr. Depp push you in any way down the stairs?
No. No, he never pushed me, kicked me, or threw me down any stairs.
But another former girlfriend, actress Ellen Barkin, spoke about her relationship with the actor in less than glowing terms.
He's just a jealous man, controlling. Where are you going? Who are you going with? What did you do last night? I had a scratch on my back once that got him very, very angry because he insisted it came from me having sex with a person who wasn't.
Oh my God. They're comparing Kate Moss with Alan Barkin. Oh my God. Alan Barkin had a fling with Johnny like a million years ago. And she is so bitter about the fact that Johnny didn't want her anymore because, well, you can see, right? The writing was on the wall. But I mean, trying to bring in compare Kate Moss and Alan Barkin as if they're on the same level. Johnny's team didn't even bother cross-examining Alan Barkin. She is so ridiculously uncredible that they didn't even bother. Didn't even bother. I mean, Kate Moss, and all she really needed to be there was for 5 minutes because Amber's accusation was that, or what actually Amber said in the Virginia trial was, oh, I was in the staircase and I thought Johnny was going to push us all down the stairs. And all I could think of was Kate Moss. Really? All of that was happening. You were like fearing for your life and all you could think of was Kate Moss. That's it. Okay, sure. And that's because in the UK, she said that she remembered that, Johnny had pushed Kate Moss down the stairs once. Wrong. There's Kate Moss in front of your eyes saying, nope, didn't happen. Johnny was lovely, actually. I fell over. He came back and carried me and, got me, medical help. Lies. Pretty obvious, aren't they?
And witnesses who, strangely, didn't want to be a part of the circus, like the hapless doorman from Johnny and Amber's apartment.
Right? I just so stressed out because of this. I just don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm tired. I don't want to deal with this court case. Everybody got problems, and I don't want to deal with this no more.
Again, they cherry pick Alejandro Romero there, that part where he's saying that. What they don't put in 60 Minutes, what you should have put in is the part where he's saying that, of course, makeup can cover marks, but can makeup cover swelling? No, it can't. Making out like Alejandro is some kind of deranged, unintelligent person, when actually he was a lot more intelligent than Amber's lawyers, especially in that deposition. So once again, they don't show you the reality of what was the testimony of Alejandro. They only show you a cherry-picked part to make you think that, oh, well, he's not credible. I mean, who are these crazy people Johnny got in? Absolutely ridiculous.